Hey everyone, welcome back to Endless Money Pits. This is a 2001 Chevrolet Corvette, and today I'll show you how to change the oil. This procedure should be the same for all Corvettes, including the Z06, made from 1997 to 2004. Chevy says to change the oil and filter as indicated by the oil life readout on the dash, or once a year at minimum. The oil change reminder on the dash will vary based on driving conditions, but the service manual indicates it will usually tell you to change the oil somewhere between 3,000 and 15,000 miles. If you're interested in sending off an oil sample for analysis, make sure to check out my video on that process and the results I got with my BMW. The hardest part of this job is getting the car up on 4 jack stands, but I'll show you what worked for me. Here are the tools that I used for this job. 15mm wrench, oil filter wrench, plastic mallet, floor jack, jack stands, a light, creeper, fluid catch pan, funnel, and some gloves. For this job I also needed 4 wood blocks, 2 rubber mats, 6.5 quarts of 5W30 full synthetic oil, and an oil filter. The owner of the car also provided me with a half quart of oil additive that he says he's been using in his other vehicles for years with positive results. The first thing to do is get the engine warm so the oil flows better. My floor jack didn't fit under the front or the rear of this car until I drove it up onto 4 pieces of wood for a little extra clearance. I also had to put some rubber under 2 of the wood blocks because the front wheels just kept pushing them forward. If you don't have pieces of rubber like this, you could use floor mats or something similar. That gave me barely enough room to get the jack under the car, so if your car is lowered, then you'll need a jack with a lower profile than mine. I always used to be a little paranoid about working under cars like this, but these new jack stands I got are really beefy and feel completely safe. They're more expensive than my old Harbor Freight stands, but life is priceless. You can safely jack up and support the car at these points. The oil drains out from the front of the oil pan, so the car should be tilted slightly forward if possible to get all the oil out. Open the hood and remove the oil cap to help the oil flow. At the time, I couldn't get my socket wrench or a breaker bar to fit here, so I used a 15mm wrench with a little help from a plastic mallet to get the oil drain bolt started. Now that I'm looking at it from this angle, I think I could have gotten a socket on there with an extension. Oh well. Make sure your fluid catch pan is in position and remove the drain bolt. This catch pan is just big enough to fit under the drain hole and the oil filter at the same time. Sometimes these oil filters can be removed by hand, but use an oil filter wrench if it's too tight. Now, let's get the new filter ready while everything drains. Fill the new filter with fresh oil and rub some on the rubber gasket too. This gets oil circulating through the engine faster on the first startup and helps keep the filter from sticking the next time you replace it. Wipe off the mating surface and make sure the rubber gasket from the old filter isn't still stuck to the engine, or you could end up with a huge leak. Install the new filter, being careful not to spill the oil inside or cross the threads. Get it as tight as you can by hand. You should not have to use tools to tighten it. The drain bolt should be torqued to 18 foot-pounds, but like I said, I didn't think my torque wrench would fit, so I just did it by feel. With the filter and the drain bolt both installed, we can fill the engine with fresh oil. First, I added the half quart of oil additive. Then I added what I had left over from filling the filter. Then I put in another 5 quarts to bring up the level to the specified 6.5 quarts. Remove the funnel, replace the oil cap, and close the hood. If you used wood blocks, make sure they're all in place before you lower your car back onto the ground. The service manual says to check the oil level and add more if necessary, so I'll take it for a quick spin around the block first to get the oil distributed. Check the oil on a level surface and make sure it's between the upper and lower marks on the dipstick. When I was researching this procedure, I read some posts online from people claiming that GM says you can add an extra quart of oil if you're racing autocross, but I wasn't able to find any statements from GM to back that up. If you can find a reference to that information, please leave a link to it in the comments. If you need to know how to reset the oil service life readout on the dash, watch this video next to see how it's done. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe for more of the best Corvette DIY videos on the internet. And until next time, just keep throwing money at it.